other people in my videos before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Hey, welcome everybody. If we turn this into a video, I got Mario here. He brought this reel in. We're going to tear it down real quick and do a quick service on it before we send him home with it. And he says he's never had it apart. I don't think you have you?
No.
No, he says it's never been serviced since he bought this reel. And it definitely feels a little scratchy. So we're going to start off by taking out these three screws. He brought this reel in because it was missing the nut for the handle. And there's no lockdown for that nut, which would explain why he's missing the nut. So what do you use this for, Mario?
It was intended for bass fishing.
Okay. Do you still bass fish?
I hadn't done that in a few years. But my son, since he's been doing it, I'm going to hand it over to him.
Okay.
Just like this Daiwa that I just got from you.
He liked that Daiwa I did yesterday, so he's taking it home with him. Okay, let's see. And that one there comes. All right, let's see here. I've never had this reel apart before, so this is all new to me. Alright, side cover's coming off. Alright, there we go. This is fairly standard once you get into it. There's our two springs. We don't want to lose those. We'll move those over. By the way, what is this thing? This is a... That says engineered by Daiwa. It is a Daiwa Strikeforce. Does it have a model number? So far, I don't see one.
If not, it's faded.
Yeah. Don't see one on it. Maybe by the time we get done cleaning it, we'll find one. All right, so we're going to take off, or attempt to take off, main gear. All right, we got a really thin shim washer right there that was holding everything. Where did it go? That stuck to my thumb. There we go. Now we've got a bearing. Now that is not a sealed bearing, it's a shielded bearing. And what we'll do, we'll spray it down with some WD-40 and let it soak for a few minutes, and we'll see if we can't clean that out. All right. Under there is the anti-reverse collar. Okay, now see what we got here. See how this is hitting right here and it doesn't want to come up? All right, what's happened is, as this nut's been tightened down over the years, it flares that out right there. So the way to fix that, we'll take a file and we'll just run it up and down right there. See how that bright spot? That's what it was catching on.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to flip it over the other way and do it again. Let's see if that's enough. There we go.
Wow.
Now it comes right off. All right. Now the sleeve, it's still catching, so we got a little bit left there. It's got a little tighter tolerance than that sleeve did. Yeah, once you file it down to where it's all blended like that, then you know you got it. I just try not to take off more than I have to. There we go. There's our bell washer. It's not very belled, but okay. Okay, there's our click ratchet, and okay, there's... Normally, these old reels like this, with this click ratchet like this, have got a anti-reverse claw, and this one doesn't have one because the anti-reverse is built into the case. It's an instant anti-reverse. But they're still using the same piece that they would have used with one that had it. All right, let's see. All right. was good, Rick. Pop that up and out of there. Wasn't intended to, but we did. All right, now Mario gets to see up close in person how I make mistakes. All right. I don't think we need to take that out. I think we'll leave that in and scrub all this right in place. So we're going to take a minute to scrub this, and we'll start reassembling these parts back. Just got a lot of old dried grease is all. Not too much grit and dirt. And the funny part, here's the two failed springs. These are the two that, oh, take that back. Yeah, these are the two that didn't work that I made for it. So I had to make new ones. Or one more new one. Those,
God, they almost look like the real deal.
They look pretty much all the same, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just that little bit of difference in whether they worked or not.
Wow. So
they got to be really precise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to tear up your drag washer, and it doesn't want to come out, so we're going to leave it in place.
Okay.
And lube it right there where it stands. I don't want to take a chance on it, because I'm pretty sure I don't have a replacement for it. Not 100% sure, but pretty sure. All right.
Looked like he was a Shimano fan.
No, he just had a lot of them. And they're pretty big in the Louisville area. All right. Wipe that out.
You gonna put those on the boat too?
No.
No?
No. Those will probably go up for sale. I get ready for them to go. They are, I don't really have much use for them. They don't fit my style of fishing. I mean, they're nice reels, but I don't bass fish. And be perfectly honest, I never, ever was good with a bait caster.
It took a lot of practice for me.
Yeah.
But it took me 6 weeks and I got it.
Over the years, my dad gave me, probably 10 or 15 bait casters. And he kept telling me, you need to learn to fish with it. And I kept trying, and I kept trying. And every time I went out, I'd take one, and I'd get frustrated with it eventually and chuck it to the side and go back to my, and finally one day I went back and I gathered them all up and took them back to him and said, here, you can have these. Said, I just can't use them. So I gave them all back to him. Well, a lot of the ones I gave him are ones I got back after he passed away. So I guess they were still sitting here waiting.
I gave my son, he started using them, and I told him, if you could learn it without getting that bird's nest, I said you could use them. Well, he practiced on it over the weekend. The next weekend he started using it. So, and that's when he lost the nut on that handle. And then he had my black one, my other Daiwa, and that one he kept using. He liked that one. So now he'll have that one, and he'll have the one you're working on.
Okay, this actually does have a secondary anti-reverse. It just wasn't engaged. It's right here. It wasn't engaged because somebody at one time had this apart, because this was in backwards.
I bought it brand new.
Somebody, somewhere, whether your son or whoever, somebody took it apart because this piece was in backwards.
Wow.
So now it's in and it's correct.
Wow.
All right.
That's
so
crazy.
That's good. Okay. Next goes this drag washer. And will you hand me that white tub right there? Yeah. All right, this washer needs very little grease. So I'm gonna put some on, and then I'm gonna take most of it right back off again. And who knows, we'll go back and double check the video. Maybe I don't remember it correctly from when I took it apart. But my memory says it was in the other way. Could be wrong. We've all seen me be wrong before, haven't we, Mario?
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, next is going to go our gear. Before we would put that in, let's go ahead and grease the gear. I've gone ahead and scrubbed it up. So you're off today?
Yeah. I gotta go get my glasses, my lenses changed out. I got a scratch, and I got warranty on them. So I just gotta pay $25 for a new pair of lenses. They're Lens Crafters.
Okay. Yeah, I only wear glasses for reading, so for $25, I can buy 25 pair of Dollar Tree glasses. Well, no, you don't get 25 anymore. It's $1.25 for everything now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everything's going up. So, all right, that goes on next. I couldn't get the drag washer out. It really wants to stay right where it's at, so I'm going to leave it right where it's at. I'm afraid I'm going to crack it trying to take it out. So we're going to leave it in and lubricate around just a little bit. And we're going to put in the cap washer like so. There we go. Now, let's see if we're going to be able to put this gear back in with the main gear in. It came out later. And let's find out if we can go ahead and put it in now. We're going to grease the pinion gear. And then we're going to come back and put a little bit of grease on the yoke that it turns in. And the yoke is going to go in, let's see here, this way. Here's the ramps right here. See how these are angled? Okay, those ramps are going to go down, facing towards these two ramps here. At least I believe that's the way it is, yep. It's actually got two split ramps. It's got one on each side. That's interesting. All right. So that's going to go this way with this guy in, like so. And let's see if it will go in with the main gear in. Yes, it does. Very good. Okay. It's not going down all the way. It should catch on that pinion gear, or on the spool, and it's not catching. There we go. All right, now it's turning. Okay, now, what was supposed to trip that and send it up? Whatever it is, did not do it. So, let's see if we can figure out, maybe that's not an anti-reverse, maybe that's a kickback trip. I bet it is. Let's take this off again. And let's flip this over. Remember I told you it was backwards? Well, I think its purpose actually is not an anti-reverse. It is the kickback for the button. Now we're going to... See, we learn as we go. Okay, slide it down like so. Now, when we push the button down, which it's going to try to pop this yoke back out. There we go. Now, when we rotate this handle, when we rotate this, it should, yep, it kicks it back. That's the kickback.
Wow.
Okay. All right, we learned another something about the reel, which makes it fun. Okay.
Very interesting.
Next, we had this sleeve. This is your instant anti-reverse sleeve right there. And I believe that's on upside down. It's got a slight, nope, that's solid. That goes down up against there. And then this one goes on like so. There. Okay. Now, I need to see if there's anything on this side that's going to keep this from coming. I need to figure out how to take this side plate off of this side. And it should just be a quick release with that one long screw that it had. So it should rotate out. There we go. Rotate down. Let's see if I got it far enough down to come out. Yep. There we go. It gets that side out, and that allows you to take your spool out. Okay. So we wanted to have that out before we put all this part back. This actually looks fairly decent, but we'll make it look a little bit better. There we go. A little bit dirt out, and then we're going to go and work this through. Yeah. That's your anti-reverse. And you don't want to grease it, but you also don't want it to get rusty. And that's exactly what's in there. That's rust in that anti-reverse. And that's what I think we were hearing. When you would wind it, I think you were hearing that rust. So that's got a lot of that out. And normally you try to stay away from greasing these, but what I'm going to do, since WD-40 kind of wears itself away very quickly, I'll go ahead and shoot some WD-40 in there and see if we can't clean that up a little more. Take as much WD-40 back out as we can. And it's a friction fit, so you don't want to oil it. All right. But it also acts as a protection to keep it from getting rusty.
Water penetrating through.
All right. We've got the two springs in place. Now we got to try to get... Oh man, every spring stayed in place. Everything stayed where it was. That's pretty good. For slippery fingers, that was pretty good. Got lucky. All right, slide that back down. All right, this, we got to figure out which hole it goes in. I'm pretty sure it's right here. Okay. Oh, that's right. It's got this other bar. See this bar right here? That's got to go inside the spool. If you don't get it inside the spool, it's not going to go, and if you keep trying to force it, like I was almost trying to do, you will damage it. There we go. All right. This guy slipped out. We'll put it back in. And so did that. Look at that tiny little...
that little washer.
All right. Slip that back down like so. All right, now that's going down, and we can put our 3 screws back in. Yeah, I'm going fishing Monday.
I gotta work.
It's a holiday. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check. No, I gotta work.
You gotta work?
Yeah. You don't stop construction. Not for President's Day.
All right. There we go. Anti-reverse is working. All that's working. Okay, now we're going to come back over here. Before we put all this rest of this back in, we're going to come over and take the pawl out. And let's see. You got to be careful on these pawl caps, because sometimes they'll have a little bitty washer inside them. And they're real easy to lose if it's there. Okay, there's not one there, so that's good. Let's see if this is a steel pawl. If it is, this magnet will take it out. If it's not, then we have to kind of work it out. Nope, it's not steel. All right, so... There, that brought it out just a little bit, which is enough. There we go. Oh yeah, That's dirty. We didn't really expect it to be any other way, did we?
Yeah.
But yeah, that reel that you were interested in, I think he's probably going to ask $50 for that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He might not. He might sell it cheaper, but you make him an offer on it and see if he'd take it. It's but they're selling for a lot more than that on eBay.
Really?
Yeah. But it's not, because it's a Frankenstein reel, then it won't be able to be sold as
full price.
Full price. So I think if you looked and saw what the completed ones were on eBay, and then I offered him 2/3 of that, he'd probably take it. Especially since then he wouldn't have to pay shipping on it.
Yeah.
Because he always offers free shipping. Matter of fact, he might even go half since he's not having to pay shipping on it. So.
Man, that is one big spool of line.
Isn't it? I wish I could find one like that. I don't know where my dad bought that. All right. This is clean on this side.
I want to say Bass Pro Shops.
I've never seen them like that there.
I've seen in the saltwater section.
Okay. A little dirt there. Clean that out. All right.
That's 8-pound test?
It doesn't say. That's the problem. It's all torn off. It's got 4, 8, 12, depending on which one they actually put on.
It was probably right
yeah.
there.
And it's the same size physically as 10-pound test line. I've done a, but different manufacturers have different diameters on their 10-pound test line. So it's very close to the 10-pound test lines that I have. All right, let's spray a little WD-40 in here and clean this out. I hate automated systems.
My appointment for Tuesday.
I hate automated systems.
That's the first time I ever got one from them.
Oh, no. All right, we're going to have to take this back apart.
Something came off?
There's too much grit inside the worm gear. And on top of that, as I was trying to get it out, I used a Q-tip to try to get some of it out, and it hooked on the point of it and pulled it down in there. And I can't leave that in there. It'll just bind it up. So we're going to go through and pull that out real quick. And remind me, Mario, when we go put this back together, to make sure that I put those back in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Off with the gear. Off with the clicker. All right. Is that going to come out? Not without taking the dreaded E-clip off of the other side. So, have these videos made you adventurous, made you want to get into your own reels?
I'm tempted.
All right, there we go.
There's some spinning reels that I want to get into. Lubricate also. It belongs to those rods that I'm going to repair.
Okay. Yeah, look at that. See all this stuff caked up on there?
Mm-hmm.
And just wasn't, like, there's that Q-tip. Yeah, that was going to gum everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't leave that there. And no matter how much I kept scrubbing it, the grooves down inside here were staying black. And they're supposed to be bright silver like you see now.
Yeah.
And no matter how much I kept scrubbing it, it still kept staying black. It wasn't coming out. Wasn't getting enough out of there. So now I should be able to run the Q-tip through the sleeve for that worm gear and get all that mess out of there. Let's go ahead and take the sleeve out altogether. Look at that mess.
Wow.
That's why I wasn't having much luck trying to get it cleaned out.
Wow.
He was able to break it free, but there was just so much that it wasn't coming out.
That's about 15 years worth.
Okay, let's put this back in now. I believe it's like so. Let's get it in right. Okay, we're going to slide this sleeve back in. I'm pretty sure it goes in this way. Just like this, with the hole facing towards the pawl. Can you see that its opening's there? Yeah, okay. And let's run one more Q-tip through the pawl area. Yeah, see? Okay, now we've got that cleaned out. At that point, we can come back, put this side back in, put the worm gear, slide it in. Should go all the way in. Don't let it knock the washer out. Look at that.
You push the washer.
No, it's just dirt. There's just more dirt in there. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and pop that washer out and clean underneath it. Okay, now put it back in. Make sure we're all the way up. Fit the washer back on, and here comes the fun part. On that Daiwa, I lost that E-clip about 4 times.
Wow.
Managed to find it every time. There we go. E-clip is back on. Time to put the pawl back in. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and give it a shot of oil. And let's put some oil on the worm gear so that everything can slide back and forth easily. Yeah, what happens a lot of times is people will take and put grease on this worm gear, and it just cakes up in there and starts collecting. And before you know it, it's got everything bound up. All right, put finger on, rotate it back and forth a few times, make sure it's in the groove, which it is. Now we can put the cap back on with an extra shot of oil. When it comes to worm gears and pawls, I don't believe you can put too much oil. And if it's dripping off of them, so be it. That's okay.
And I found it on my shop cart on the bottom.
I was going to say, you were having trouble finding it last time.
Yep.
All right.
For some reason, I had to go to my cart, and I looked down there, and I saw it right under everything.
Okay, that's moving much better. Tweak it just a hair more and give it one more drop of oil in there. And another shot of oil on the worm gear. And there we go. That's all fine now. Okay, I've already cleaned this. Let's go ahead and clean the spool up. But you like your braided line, don't you?
Yeah, as you can tell.
I just never have been able to become a fan of it. When it first came out, I lost several nice fish because I was using it, and I didn't know that you couldn't use the same old knots. And I was fishing out there on that wall. Nice big fish hit. They're running. It's all them and pull it in. You got this little curly cue on the end where the knot pulled out.
I used the enhanced clinch knot. That's what I use.
I've gone to the fishing full knot. That's what I use. Now, wait a minute.
Since I don't have any problems losing fish like that, I kept using it.
Well, I haven't lost any since I went to the fishing full knot, so. And years ago, they had a show on YouTube called Knot Wars. Did you ever watch it? Where they were comparing different knots. And I've not been able to find the whole thing anymore. It's like it disappeared off of YouTube. You can catch parts of it, but it was really good. They would go out and test knots against each other. And they would tie the different knots, show you how they were tied and everything. They would tie them, and then they would test them like 5 times and take them to breaking strength. And the fishing full knot did really, really well. It finally, as a matter of fact, it was the first year's winner, but a couple of years later, it got beat. Okay, we're putting a drop of oil here. We're putting a drop of oil in here. And we're going to slide this back together. There we go. Lock that in. And we'll leave that there for now. Okay, here we are back to this side that we already had put together once. Let's put it back together again. I'll slide on this clicker, which is designed to trip this. Look at it. I'll show you now that it's off. Since I took it back off, I'll show you how this works. Okay, when you trip the button down, it pushes this lever forward like this. When you rotate this, see how it hooks on there? And when you rotate that up, it pushes back on the linkage and kicks it back. Okay?
Wow.
That's how that works. All right. Let's slide our main gear back on. Everything's already pre-lubed, ready to go. Here we go. On with our sleeve. Hang on. Almost messed up by not turning the camera back on. All right, we're back on. And I'm trying to put that in the wrong place. Okay, it goes over there. Okay, we got this. Let's take it all. We've got the clicker cog, which goes with the sawtooth facing to the right on the top. We've got the drag washer, the hard drag washer, goes under there. Then we've got the main gear with the cap washer on top. Get that to line up here. All right, everything's lined up there. Now we're going to come back and slide on the sleeve. Like so. On top of the sleeve goes these, first off, this washer. It's kind of like an isolation washer. Okay, and then goes these 2 tension washers, which have the bend in them. And you put those in there. You can either put them in nested or apart from each other, depending on whether you're trying to gain more or less tension. To me, it always worked out about the same either way, so I never really cared. Okay, then goes the bearing. And on top of the bearing went that little bitty
thin washer.
And it fits down all the way like so. All right, it's kind of like a shield for the bearing. All right, all that's together. Now we'll put these 2 springs on. So, nope, you didn't end up having to remind me. And remember we've got this black post here that's got to go down the center of the spool. And I've got, helps if you set it right, Rick. There we go. This long one over here has got to go down through this little hole right here. Okay, so let's line those two up, start getting it in. Then you got to stop and get this black post inside to line up inside the spool. Okay. Then everything drops back down in there like so. And it should, let's go ahead and thumb wheel this one down. Okay, that should hold enough for a quick test. Button down. Okay. All right, and all right, tensioner. Got to get that washer to fit flat. You don't want it sticking up or sitting sideways. All right, drag wheel.
Oh.
Seem a little better?
Yeah. It's spinning freely now.
Okay.
It didn't do that earlier.
Okay. And I keep trying to put it on crooked. There we go. That should be the 10 millimeter. It was. All right. Let's check the drag. Okay. Squeeze a little bit of that grease out of there. Okay. Worm gears turning. All right, Mario. There we have the model number unknown Daiwa Strikeforce baitcaster reel, and it's been serviced and ready to go home. So if you guys like what you saw here today, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, by all means, hit the dislike button, but tell me what it is you didn't like. If you'd like to see further videos like this, hit the subscribe button. For now, that's Rick Stivers and Mario signing out from Young Martin's Reels. Well, as I explained to you in the video, after Mario got out of here, as I started editing the video, I saw where I had made mistakes. And normally I have a reel here. I can correct those mistakes. And as I'm editing, if I find them, and I can get them edited and show you guys where I made the mistakes and send it on. Well, in this case, I couldn't because Mario had the reel at home, and that's like 60 miles away. So I saw what I did. I called Mario, and I walked him through it on the telephone, how to reassemble it in the correct manner, getting everything put back in there. And Mario said, by the way, I'm missing screws. I said, missing screws? He said, yeah, I'm missing screws. I said, well, there's only 3 screws in the whole thing. He said, yeah, and they're all missing. Remember when I put the one side screw in and said, that ought to hold for right now? Well, and it should. Let's go ahead and thumb wheel this one down. Okay, that should hold enough for a quick test. There they are, still laying on the bench, right where I left them. So I'm going to put those in the mail and mail them down to Mario. He should have them hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Well, Monday's a holiday, so it'll probably be Wednesday or Thursday. Knowing our mail system, it's probably not going to be very fast. But there's his 3 screws. Apparently, I don't perform very well when I have an audience. So, anyway, I'll get those out to Mario so he can get that together. But in reality, the reel still runs real nice. That 1 screw will hold it for the time being, but I would hate to catch a big fish on it and have that side pop loose like that. So I'm going to get these in the mail to Mario and see if we can't get them to him. All right, for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels signing out.